Awesome. Okay, so my name is Jessie Jennings, and I'm a content creator here at Plaid. And as you probably can assume, Plaid is the makers of Mod Podge. So we are super excited. May for Plaid is Mod Podge month. So we have our own national holiday. I believe it's the 19th. So of course we'll have a class then too, but all this month in the Michael's Community Classroom, we're going to be teaching you guys really cool Mod Podge projects and really unique ways of using some of our formulas. So as you guys know, today is our first class. We wanted to kick it off. We always get lots of questions from people about which formulas to use when. So Michael's carries, I think, all of the Mod Podge formulas. They have one of the best selections of Mod Podge in any of the stores you can get them from. So today, Emma is in the studio, another content creator here at Plaid, and she's going to do an overview of all of our most popular Mod Podge formulas, kind of letting you guys know how each of them work and when to use which formula. We get tons of questions. We do lots of these classes for Michael's already. We're so grateful to get to do these classes in the Michael's Community Classroom. So we just wanted to start this month fresh and just let everybody know all the formulas you can buy at Michael's and when to use them and the kind of amazing things they do today. So like I said, without further ado, happy Mod Podge month. And I'm going to pass it over to Emma to get started talking about some of our favorite Mod Podge formulas.
Okay, thanks, Jessie, for that introduction. Like Jessie said, May is National Mod Podge Month, and here at Plaid, we get super, super excited for National Mod Podge Month because it is obviously our favorite month of the year. It's like it is a national holiday, but it's our favorite one for sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started, you guys. If you don't know what Mod Podge is, I'm assuming you do since you're here today. It is an all-in-one adhesive and sealer. It is America's favorite decoupage. And to tell you a little bit about some of the history behind Mod Podge, it was created by a female entrepreneur. Her name was Jan Whetstone, and she actually created it in the 60s under the name Modern Decoupage. So that's where the name Mod Podge comes from. So if you say Mod Podge, you're actually saying it wrong. It's Mod Podge, not the G at the end of mod. So there's that little correction. If you've been saying it wrong, now you know.
That's very common. Mod Podge really rolls off the tongue, but now you know where the name came from. So hopefully you'll remember that it's Mod Podge.
Yeah, modern decoupage, which is just a cool little, bit of history to know. And Jan actually started creating Mod Podge in her very own bathtub and was selling it to decorators and designers, creators of all different walks of life to make works of art with her product, Modern Decoupage. And actually, if you see the shirt that I'm wearing today, this was the very first brand label for Mod Podge. So that's kind of cool to know too. And of course, in the decades since the 60s, Mod Podge has come a really, really long way. We have dozens of different formulas to work with for all of your different crafting needs. And that brings us to this class, which I'm so excited to talk about all of the different formulas. And I honestly don't even think we'll have enough time to get to all of the different ones that Michael's carries, because like Jessie said, they really have the best selection of Mod Podge in any store. But we're going to go over all of the important ones so that you can decide which one you want to use when you're crafting with Mod Podge at home. So first off, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. If you are brand new to Mod Podge and you don't know what it is, there are three basic formulas to get started with. And they're all the original formula, but they all have a different finish. So we have Mod Podge Matte, Mod Podge Satin, and Mod Podge Gloss. And so there's a lot of different things that you can use Mod Podge with. So it is multi-surface. So you can apply Mod Podge in whatever you're Mod Podging to: wood, canvas, terracotta, metal, glass, basically anything. And there's lots of different things you can Mod Podge with. You can Mod Podge with fabric, napkins, glitter, paper. I mean, the opportunities are endless with what you can Mod Podge with. Okay, so here's what we're going to do right now. We are going to choose a piece of paper, and this is going to kind of act as our first little demo of the day. And we're going to Mod Podge some paper right onto this canvas so that we can kind of use it as our blank canvas to show you some of our really cool formulas later in the class. So we'll find one with a really nice pattern.
Yeah, we'll find out really quick, Emma, while you're doing that. Emma, the three formulas you have, I believe you pulled out satin, gloss, and matte. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So these are our original Mod Podge formulas. This is just our plain decoupage medium, and it comes in 3 finishes. So you have satin, gloss, and matte. And this is the one that that's this traditional Mod Podge that you're going to use for decoupaging papers and things like that. So just as a reminder, we're going to talk about all of the formulas today. So all of these formulas you can find on michaels.com. And somebody's asking about a document kind of laying this all out. We don't have a specific document for this class. We're just going to, again, this is being recorded, so you can always go back and watch it on michaels.com later on if you want to reference it and use it for information for your projects. But you can also go to plaidonline.com/modpodge. And we have tons of inspiration and awesome content that teaches you about these formulas and ways of using them. We have a lot of FAQs and things like that. So make sure to check out, I'll put it in the chat here, plaidonline.com/modpodge for more information.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Jessie said, these are just the 3 finishes for the original Mod Podge formula right now. And Jess, can you see my overhead camera?
We are still on the front view right now, spotlighted.
Okay.
Oh, now we're overhead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, so we have the original formula right here, and we just have it in all these different finishes. So basically all 3 of these do the same exact thing. You just get to choose whatever finish you want to work with, whatever finish you want your finished project to have. And I'm really a matte girl, so that's what I'm going to use. And I just have this blank canvas and this piece of scrapbook paper. So that's what I've chosen to work with today. And I'm taking my paintbrush and I am going to apply my Mod Podge directly onto my canvas.
Okay, a couple more little tidbits here, guys. So people are asking, we have a Mod Podge fabric shoe class coming up soon. So you can check out michaels.com for that event listing. Michaels doesn't sell plain canvas tennis shoes. So the ones we have, we purchase at Target. But anywhere you can find shoes, you know, if you have kids at home, if you have some old sneakers at home that you want to decoupage, you can totally use that. They sell those really great shoes anywhere. They can be inexpensive, or like I said, you can redo some you already have. We're just going to teach you the technique of applying fabric to shoes.
Yeah, exactly, like Jessie said. And we're really going to show you how to make a pattern in that class. So, you know, the basic skills you're going to learn from that class is how to, you know, use fabric Mod Podge first of all, and also how to make a template to put on an irregular shaped, why can't I speak? An irregularly shaped object. So
yeah.
So right now we're just setting our paper, we're Mod Podging it right onto our stretched canvas there, and we're going to set it aside for something else. But just in case you are brand new, you have never used Mod Podge before, that is how you use Mod Podge, you guys. So you can use something called a brayer, which is kind of like a little mini roller to help smooth out your Mod Podge and to help not get air bubbles inside. Or you can use a squeegee, which is exactly like it sounds. It's a little rubber tool. And I just saw that comment, what works better, a brush or a foam brush applicator? You can use either one. It's really just up to you and what you're more comfortable working with, but they would both work the same way. They'll both get your Mod Podge onto your surface so that you can create your project. It's really just a personal preference. And I'm reading that question too. How do you clean your brush after use? All you have to do is just rinse it in some water, and then your Mod Podge will be removed from your brush and you can use it again.
Yeah, the same way you'd clean your paintbrushes.
Exactly. Okay, so let's set this aside, you guys. So that is our Mod Podge original formulas. Multi-surface, you can use it on tons of different surfaces, and you can Mod Podge lots and lots of things to that. And then the next thing I want to talk about is Mod Podge Ultra, which I am super excited to talk about. So Mod Podge Ultra came out a few years ago. And unlike our original Mod Podge formula, you don't need a brush for Mod Podge Ultra, okay? It is a spray-on application, which means, drum roll, you don't have any brush strokes, which is a complaint that people have had, you know, with a lot of different decoupage mediums in the past, is that you just are always going to get brush strokes because that's just really the nature of the beast, right? But with this formula, absolutely no brush strokes. It is self-leveling. You don't have to clean any brushes in the end. And it has a lot of different uses. So here, you guys, these are some projects that we actually made with Mod Podge Ultra. Here we have this little Mosaic Coaster. So as you can see, we used a 3D object. This is actually a broken plate, kind of that chinoiserie pattern, which is super trendy. And so we had this clear tray, and we sprayed our Mod Podge Ultra into the tray, and then we placed our broken plate pieces in a mosaic pattern, and then we let it sit overnight, and then we are left with this beautiful, beautiful coaster. Hey, and Dylan, if you don't mind, I have a little painted terracotta saucer and some mosaic tiles on my desk. Thank you. And I'm going to actually show you guys a little demo on how to recreate this project here, because it is really cool, and I can't wait for you guys to see that in action. Another project we made with Mod Podge Ultra is this gorgeous mixed media beach painting. So as you can see, we painted this beautiful ocean pattern. Thank you, Dylan. And then I don't know if you guys can see, but do you see how there's texture in the sand? We actually got real sand, and we sprayed some Mod Podge Ultra into the dry sand and mixed it together to create this textured, detailed sand texture on our beach painting.
A couple quick questions, Em. So people are asking for some clarification on the Mod Podge Ultra. So I'm going to kind of preface by saying we have tons of different formulas, and some of the uses for the formulas do overlap. So some of our formulas kind of do the same thing, but they'll do other things, and the other formulas don't, if that makes sense. So can you just kind of clarify what kind of projects you might want to use Mod Podge Ultra for over a different Mod Podge formula?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, Mod Podge is great and it's really durable, the original formula, but it doesn't work so great to adhere 3D objects like, let's say, seashells or these mosaic tile pieces, right? So Mod Podge Ultra is really great for using 3D things that you would want to decoupage to your surface. It is also a really great stiffener. So take a look at this, you guys. So this is a cactus, and the leaves on this cactus are felt, okay? And they're getting that dimension because we actually sprayed with our Mod Podge Ultra a flat piece of felt, and then we cut them into these little cactus leaves, and it stayed in that shape. It actually stiffened the felt. So that's another really great possibility that you can achieve with Mod Podge Ultra. I'm trying to think, there's so many different things. Mod Podge Ultra works as a great pouring medium. If you are into paint pouring, that is another way that you can utilize Mod Podge Ultra. What else, Jess? It is great as just, some typical things that you would use normal Mod Podge for, to adhere paper, to adhere fabric, all the things that normal Mod Podge does with a little bit of oomph, really. There's so many great things for Mod Podge Ultra. Like I said, we got some just plain sand from a beach trip, and we sprayed some Mod Podge Ultra into our dry sand, mixed it up, and then spread it onto this beach canvas. And now we have this texture, and I'm scratching this off, you guys, and it's no sand.
Really durable.
It is super durable. That's another great thing. It is an excellent sealer for all your different art pieces. It seals your artwork really, really well. I mean, it is probably and it's water resistant. That's another great thing. I just saw that question. Great question. And it is water resistant. So you can use it to protect all of your projects to go outdoors too. Okay.
If you wanted to do like coasters and you're worried about, getting rings and things like that, you wouldn't want to use our standard Mod Podge formula for that. You could use, again, we're going to get into all of these. I know there's so much info.
Yes.
You could use Dishwasher-Safe. Some of our Mod Podge formulas are water resistant. and some are not. And
Yeah.
to clarify, we don't say waterproof because it doesn't seal the entire project. You don't want to put it submerged in water, but if you have like a glass on it, or if it were to rain on it, mist, things like that, it is water resistant. So your project will stay intact.
Yes. And so guys, just so you know, we're not going to demo every single Mod Podge because there is so many today, but just some of the techniques. If you saw like, oh, I love that project, I want to know how to get started with that at home, I'm definitely going to show you that. So if you love this, I'm going to show you how to get started with making it yourself at home. Yeah. So grab your Mod Podge Ultra, and it comes in 2 different formulas. It comes in matte and gloss. So again, it's just up to you, whatever you prefer. Like I said, I'm a matte girl, but with this kind of project, I think it will look really pretty with a glossy sheen. So I'm actually going to choose to use the gloss, and we are going to use it as a spray applicator, and we're going to spray into our tray until we get a nice and thick little layer of Mod Podge Ultra. Okay. And now we are just going to place our mosaic pieces in there. Okay. And it's non-toxic, we should also point out.
Yeah. So people are asking if it's food safe, and I just popped that in the chat. This formula is not food safe. So all of our Mod Podge formulas, except for resin. So we'll just keep that in mind. Resin is kind of different. That's a new formula we will touch on a little bit, but all of our original Mod Podge formulas are water-based and non-toxic. So there's no fumes. It's safe to get on your hands. It's safe to use in your home, but they are not food safe, which is an entirely different thing. While resin is more toxic, just like any resin, it's a 2-part system. So you want to make sure you protect yourself and use it in a well-ventilated area. But once it cures, it is food safe. So that's kind of the difference. Our Mod Podge resin is the only formula that is food safe. So if you're looking to do something on like a cutting board or on, tumblers and things like that, where you're going to be putting your mouth or you're going to be putting food, Mod Podge resin is for you. And again, we're going to get to that in a minute. I just kind of wanted to touch on that.
Right. And I'll cut you off, Jessie, because that's a great segue, because that's what we're going to talk about next.
Perfect.
So if you haven't heard and you are a fan of Mod Podge, in 2021, we just released resin under the iconic brand Mod Podge. Okay. So our resin in particular, it is a 2-part clear epoxy coating resin. Okay. So like Jessie said, it is food safe. So once it is fully cured, you can use it on cutting boards, on tumblers, on mugs, on anything that's going to come into contact with food. So that's what's really unique to, our traditional Mod Podge, is that it is food safe. It is incredibly durable. Again, it's weather resistant. You just have to be careful because it's not necessarily UV resistant, but it is weather resistant. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard about resin or you've ever used resin before, but you can make some really, really gorgeous projects. These are all made with Mod Podge resin. With some gold leaf and some mosaics. This was done in a mold. So if you have no clue what resin is, it is a 2-part system. And when you get it, in each bottle, it is a liquid. And when you stir it together and then pour it into your mold or your tray, whatever you're using, it will harden and cure, and then it will become a solid. You can hear this. I mean, it is solid, you guys. This is all resin. And you can embed beautiful family mementos, gold flakes, mosaic pieces. I mean, really anything you can think of. There's so many great uses for resin. We have a lot of great resin classes already on michaels.com and on their YouTube page. So if you look up their past Michaels Community Classroom pages, we have a lot of great classes showcasing how to use our brand new Mod Podge resin. So are there any questions about Mod Podge resin, Jess, before we move on?
Oh, we have all kinds of questions. Everybody's really excited to learn. I know this is one of those informational classes where we've got a ton to go over. So Leah is asking, will traditional or resin yellow over time, as in years? So I have not had any problem with Mod Podge yellowing over time. If you're using a formula that is not tested to be used outdoors, like if it's in the sun when it's not supposed to, there's a chance that it will yellow or that your papers will fade over time. We just want to make sure that's why we're doing this class. You're using the right formula for the right project. As far as resin goes, if you leave it outside all resin will yellow over time. It will be many, many years before it does start to yellow. It won't start to yellow immediately, but that's just the nature of resin. If you leave it in direct sunlight, you do run the risk of it yellowing over time, but that's not just Mod Podge resin, that's any resin. So just something to keep in mind with your projects and the way you store your projects.
Yeah.
Really quick, somebody would like to know, they would like to hear a little bit about sealing paper with resin.
Okay, yeah. So what I would do if I wanted to seal paper with resin, like if you're using like a wood coaster or a glass tray, whatever you're using, I would use one of our original Mod Podge formulas to adhere your paper down to your surface with the Mod Podge, and then wait for that to completely dry, and then coat it with your resin. If you're wanting to make something like this, so this did come from a mold, a coaster mold. So what we did is we mixed and we poured a little bit of our Mod Podge resin into the mold, like halfway. And then we placed our picture upside down, because this is what we're looking at when we're making the mold. We placed our picture upside down. And then we waited for that to cure for about 20 minutes, just for the resin to get a little bit tacky before we poured our last layer of resin over it to totally embed our picture. So those are two ways to use pictures in your resin. I hope that answers your question.
I think it did. And I just popped into the chat, guys. I know resin is like a whole different beast, and there's a lot to talk about with resin. I know it's super trendy right now, so I'm so excited that you guys are asking these questions. I just put in the chat a link for all of the information we have compiled for Mod Podge resin, including safety information. So like I mentioned earlier, resin is toxic. All resin is toxic, not just Mod Podge resin. All epoxies are toxic. So you just want to be safe. You can absolutely use resin safely and have really beautiful projects. You just want to make sure you're taking the proper safety precautions and keeping yourself safe. So I popped that into the chat, plaidonline.com/modpodgeresin. You can get tons of information there, as well as a safety PDF that you can print out. We've broken it all down, all the specific supplies you need to, the specific mask and gloves and things like that to keep you and your family safe when you're using Mod Podge resin at home. So if you want to know more information about that, please feel free to copy and paste that link and go check that out.
Absolutely. And we're going to move on because we have a lot of Mod Podge to talk about and not a lot of time in this class, you guys. Okay, so our next formula is another, I'm going to keep saying this, but they're all great. Another great formula. It is Mod Podge Dishwasher-Safe. So just like in the name, you can use this Mod Podge for all of your projects that you need to place in the dishwasher, for all of your projects that you are going to create that need to be washed. So as you can see here, we made this gorgeous bowl. And like we said in the beginning, there's so many different things you can use with Mod Podge. This is a floral napkin that we cut out, and then we used our Mod Podge Dishwasher-Safe to adhere it to our bowl, our ceramic bowl. And then once it dried, we applied another layer of our Dishwasher-Safe Mod Podge to seal it. And now, once it's cured, it is ready to be placed in the dishwasher. Top rack only, so keep that in mind. And then it is ready to be used over and over and over again, and it'll stay just this gorgeous. So one thing to note too is that, like we said, only our resin is food safe. So if you're using it on something like this, look how cute this is. So we just took a piece of scrapbook paper, we used a stencil to cut out this E, and then we used our Dishwasher-Safe to adhere it to the mug. We sealed it. But to keep in mind, if you're making something like this, you just don't want to let the Mod Podge get on the lip of your mug, because it's not food safe. It's non-toxic, but we can't say that it's food safe. So you just want to make sure that you just get the Mod Podge, not where your mouth is going to be. So right. Non-toxic, but you just want to keep that in mind when you're crafting with Dishwasher-Safe. And of course, with all Mod Podge, when you buy it at the store, all of the instructions are on the sleeve. So if you have any questions and you need to go back to anything when you're actually using the product, make sure to read the instructions. They're all there for you to use at your own leisure. And of course, you can go to michaels.com for some FAQs, some frequently asked questions, or plaidonline.com for a more extensive description of all of your favorite Mod Podge formulas. So any questions about Dishwasher-Safe?
So let me see. Let me just make sure. I'm like trying to type and keep
Yeah,
up.
I know there's probably so many. So
yes. Just want to clarify. Okay, so dishwasher safe is not microwave safe. It's only top rack dishwasher safe. So like Emma said,
right.
you don't want to put anywhere where your mouth's going to be. You don't want to put it, on the lip of your cup. You can put it on like a tumbler, just lower down. Make sure your mouth's not touching it. You don't want to put it on the inside, of course, where your food's going to be touching. So you can put it on a bowl, put it on the outside of your bowl or on a pitcher or something. Just make sure you're putting the Mod Podge where the food's not going to touch. So it can go in your dishwasher, just something to keep in mind. You can absolutely use it on a wine glass. And you do not need to bake it. Yeah, you don't need to bake the Mod Podge Dishwasher Safe to cure it. You just want to let it cure over time. To be honest, Anne, I have not used Dishwasher Safe in the freezer. So we generally test all of our products to a certain temperatures to make sure it'll, nobody's Mod Podge will get ruined in shipping and stuff like that. But I don't know about the freezer. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll have to find that out. And then somebody also said, last one, they used rubbing alcohol on their Mod Podge. So I would avoid that. Rubbing alcohol is a chemical that will really break down a lot of craft materials. So I would avoid, rubbing alcohol is a little bit different because it is a
You mean to
solvent.
clean their porcelain or their ceramic for food safety?
They use it after they put the Mod Podge. So I would, it's a solvent. It's basically like putting paint thin. We use it to clean off paint of something sometimes. So it's basically like putting paint thinner on it. I don't imagine that it would stand up to rubbing alcohol. So just something to keep in mind. That's nothing really is gonna kind of stand up against rubbing alcohol. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, you guys, I think and of course, when we're talking further in the class about a separate Mod Podge and you are still thinking about one that we talked about earlier, of course, you can ask those questions and I'd be happy to answer them. So I know we're moving a little bit quick, but there's just so much to cover. So on to the next formula, you guys.
Yeah,
so
and just keep it in mind, guys, we have a ton of classes this month. So if there's one you have in particular you want to learn more about, chances are we've either already done a class on michaels.com or we will be. So make sure to check out the schedule because in this class, it's crazy because we're going over all of them, but we really dive more deeply into specific formulas and other classes. So just take a peek at that event listing if you want to learn more about something specific.
Absolutely. So our next Mod Podge is Mod Podge Puzzle Saver. So I know this year and a half really, we have been spending a lot of time indoors trying to find creative ways to stay busy and entertained. And a lot of people have found that puzzles are their new thing. So if you made a puzzle and you want to keep it as a work of art, Mod Podge Puzzle Saver is a great option for you. So once you've created your puzzle, what you would do is you would take your Mod Podge Puzzle Saver and apply it just like you would with any other Mod Podge. You would give it a generous coating on the top. Then you would wait 15 to 30 minutes for it to dry. You would flip it over, apply another generous coat to the backside, wait for it to dry again. And now you have a piece of art. You can frame it. You can just go ahead and hang it on your wall. You could, place it in your table. It is just a really cool thing to keep something as a work of art that you worked really hard on and you don't want to ruin. I can't say that I'm a huge puzzle person, but if I did spend days and days and days on a puzzle, I would feel really bad about having to put it back in the box again. So I love Mod Podge Puzzle Saver because it keeps your puzzle together and beautiful and looking great. And of course it's a sealer, so it'll keep it durable as well. Okay, any questions about Mod Podge Puzzle Saver, Jess?
No, just people saying they love it. Miriam said, that's great. I did 5 puzzles and Mod Podge them. Love to hear it. It works so well for puzzles.
Yeah. Okay, great. So that might have been like a unique one that you guys didn't know about, but check your Michaels if you are a puzzle fiend because we have the Mod Podge for you. Okay, up next, you guys, is kind of like a cult favorite, I feel like, in the Mod Podge line. Up next, we're talking about dimensional magic.
Yay, people were asking about this one, so I'm glad.
Awesome. So you guys, I want to say how long, maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago, I feel like just a year ago. We have always had our clear dimensional magic, see, but about a year ago, we released 2 very special dimensional magics. We released 2 glitter formulas. So we have silver and gold. So whatever your style is, we have a dimensional magic for you. And what dimensional magic is, if you've never heard about it, it is, how do you describe it? It creates some texture in your project.
Yeah, it creates dimension, just like the title. Yeah, it's a little bit raised off your surface, so you can get some more details. Like Emma said, you can kind of tilt it and see that where the dimensional magic is placed. If you kind of want to point, you can see that it's a little bit raised. So it gives, just like the title, the dimensional magic, it gives your piece some dimension. Someone asked, like fluffy paint. It does have a similar look to fluffy paint. It cures or dries harder than like a puffy paint or something like that. And it's clearer, of course, but you know, kind of a similar idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Jess said, it just gives dimension to all of your Mod Podge projects. And I'm going to show you, that's why we did this square earlier, you guys. I want to break out our dimensional magic and show you how to use it. So this is the gold, obviously. Look how beautiful. And this is the silver, just as beautiful. And it creates that beautiful dimension, a little bit of glitz and glam to your project. But if you are not big into glitz and glam, you can just use the regular original dimensional magic formula, which we're going to take out of its packaging. And just one thing to keep in mind, this is just like a little pro tip when you're using dimensional magic, you don't want to shake it up. And that really goes for all Mod Podge. If you found that you your Mod Podge separated a little bit, what I like to do is I like to roll my Mod Podge on the table like that. That's really the best way to mix your Mod Podge, because you're not going to create a bunch of air bubbles as opposed to shaking it up. Then a lot of air bubbles will form in your Mod Podge. So roll it on the table. That's one option. Or you can use a popsicle stick, disposable utensil, and stir it up. But I just wouldn't shake it because you don't want to get any air bubbles in any of your Mod Podge formulas.
Good point, Anne.
Okay, so let's use our dimensional magic, you guys.
Yeah, this is a good one to see in action because it's so different from the rest of the formulas.
Yes, so it comes in this little squeeze bottle. And like we've said, it is a great way to add dimension to your project. So I'll show you guys how it works. So let's go for this pink flower that we want to outline. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are first going to outline our shape and see how it's just staying in place. Whoever said that, puffy paint, that is a great comparison. It is kind of like puffy paint.
Yeah.
And we are going to really get our shapes down first, like outline it. And now we can fill it in. And then we'd let that, can you guys see that okay?
It's kind of hard to see on camera.
Okay.
Maybe you can tilt it and hold it up a little higher, might help.
How about now?
Can you guys see how that's raised? And it's a little bit cloudy, but it'll dry clear. You can see how that's got like some dimension. It looks like it's got like a little puddle of water on it or something, but it's giving it like a crystally glass sort of look. Okay, good. Everybody's saying, yeah, they can see it.
Okay, awesome. So you could do that to all these beautiful flowers. It is just a really unique and cool way to add some dimension to your Mod Podge project. So maybe you never heard about that before. You've seen it in the Mod Podge aisle before and you didn't really know what it was. But that's what dimensional magic is. It's a great way to add some fun dimension, some fun pops of sparkle to your craft projects. So that's dimensional magic. Any questions?
Yeah, no. So then Julia said, and then would you use regular Mod Podge to seal it all together?
Okay, great question. No, you don't need to. So ideally with that little canvas that we made, we would use the Mod Podge to adhere the paper to the canvas, and then we'd let that dry. And then we'd use whatever formula we use to adhere it, and we use that to seal the paper to the canvas. And then when we let that dry, then we would use our dimensional magic, apply that, let that dry, and we're good to go. We don't have to think about it anymore. You don't need to seal it again. The dimensional magic is self-sealing. Yep, the dimensional magic is self-sealing. It's the last step.
Can you show us the glitter one on a project again real quick? Did you have one in front of you with the gold glitter?
Yeah, that one shows really well, huh?
Yeah, can we see that one again?
Yeah.
And Anne is asking, does dimensional magic stick to acrylic paint? Yeah, it definitely does. Yep. All of our Mod Podge formulas, neither of us can talk today. All of our Mod Podge formulas work really well in conjunction with acrylic paint. So we like to use it with folk art paint. That's our favorite acrylic paint that you can find at Michael's. So it works really well on top of the paint. We like to seal our paintings with Mod Podge. A lot of times we paint on top of decoupage papers for like mixed media. So acrylic paint works really great with Mod Podge.
Okay, great. So let's move on to our next formula, you guys. This has got to be definitely one of my all-time favorite formulas. Can you guess what it is, Jessie?
Fabric.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so our next formula is Fabric Mod Podge. So there's a lot of great uses for Fabric Mod Podge. One of the awesome things that a lot of people don't know about is that if you apply your Fabric Mod Podge to your fabric before you cut it into the shape that you want, it'll prevent your fabric from fraying, which is, I know, a huge problem for me sometimes when I'm crafting with fabric. You get all those like loose, hairs on your fabric, and you just don't want that. So it'll prevent your fabric from fraying. Also, I haven't showed you the project. Look how cute this is. Those anatomical, botanical style posters and decorative pieces are so huge right now. So I love this pillow. And one thing I want to point out, look how flexible it is. So when you apply it to your fabric, unlike regular Mod Podge, it's going to keep your fabric super duper flexible. So that is another great thing about Fabric Mod Podge. And then the last great thing about it is that it is, you can actually wash it in your washing machine once it's dry and cured. So what you would do is you would get like a tote bag or a t-shirt, and then you would, you'd get like a patch, a piece of fabric that you want to Mod Podge down, apply your Mod Podge to your patch or your piece of fabric, stick it to your surface, your tote bag, your t-shirt, let it cure, and then you are ready to wash it in the washing machine. It'll stay flexible. It'll be super duper soft. It is just a great, great, great formula. And so another thing too, I wanted to mention this in the beginning, but I can't remember if I did. Some Mod Podges are better for adhering instead of sealing. So I wouldn't seal my finished project with the Fabric Mod Podge. I would just use it as a really, really great adhesive. And there's another formula that I want to go over too that's similar to that, but I wouldn't seal my finished project with Fabric Mod Podge. I would just use it as a great adhesive. Any questions,
Awesome.
Jess?
I am trying to keep up. We have so many awesome questions and comments.
Okay.
So someone's asking, what did you Mod Podge to the pillow? So maybe can you explain that? Like it's another piece of fabric that you Mod Podged?
Yes. So this is a piece of fabric that we got from our local craft store. It is just, one of those pieces of fabric that has a lot of great designs on it. We cut out the design that we wanted. We applied our Fabric Mod Podge to that piece of fabric. And then while the stuffing was out of the pillow, it was just the pillowcase. We applied that Mod Podged fabric to our pillowcase, and then we stuffed it, and now it's this awesome pillow that can be washed, and it's super flexible and super soft.
Okay, we have a real quick question from Q Dunlap. They asked if it would work to repair jeans with blown out knees. We actually did a class on this a few weeks ago, so make sure to go check out. You can find it on Michael's YouTube channel, but also on michaels.com. We showed how to make fabric appliques for jeans and apply them using Mod Podge. And we talked about how they can be used as a patch as well. So we did a whole set of jeans with fabric and Mod Podge. So make sure to go check out that because that was a really popular class. Kira taught that one, and the jeans are adorable. So you can learn a little bit more in that class.
Yes, Fabric Mod Podge is a lot more durable than you'd think.
Yes. And then really quick, someone said they purchased some Mod Podge from Michaels. And they can't get it open. So if you just got it from the store, I would go ahead, maybe it got damaged in shipping. I would go ahead and try to return it. But if you've opened it before, a little trick for Mod Podge, I actually have some right here in front of me. If you kind of left it open while you were using it and maybe some glue got dried around the edges, and then you went to seal it and you feel like your Mod Podge is dried shut now, a little trick of the trade. I like to, the bottle's fairly soft plastic. So I'll squeeze it and you can kind of hear that seal breaking and some of that dried Mod Podge cracking. And then you should be able to open it up and make sure to always, remove any excess glue from the edges. That's a good way to keep your Mod Podge. See how there's, excess glue dried on it. It just happens when you're crafting. I totally get it. But this is a really great way to make sure that A, your bottle doesn't get glued shut, and B, it keeps your Mod Podge really fresh. You want to have that nice, tight seal so that your Mod Podge has a really long shelf life and it doesn't dry out or you don't have any problems like that later on. So just a
I wasn't
little,
listening, Jess. Did you give the tap on the table trick?
You can tap it on the table. I like to squeeze it. So you can kind of, it's a soft plastic, so you can hear that seal break. And then usually you're able to open it up. So just like a little pro tip for you guys. I know things like that absolutely happen.
I guess I'm a little more aggressive. I like to really tap it on my table to break some of that dried Mod Podge rim.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me see. We've got a bunch of new comments. Let me catch up while I was talking.
Okay, well, while you're reading over some, Jess, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our next Mod Podge.
Okay, sounds good. I'm accidentally DMing people who I'm meaning to send to everyone. So if I DM'd you by accident, it's not the answer to your question. Forgive me. I'm trying to keep up.
All right. So while Jesse's looking through all your, I'm sure, awesome questions, we're going to move on to our next formula. And it's actually a grouping of two awesome formulas. So it is our Mod Podge Photo Transfer Medium and our Mod Podge Clear Image Transfer Medium. So this beautiful tote bag was made with our photo transfer medium, and this beautiful birdhouse was made with our clear image transfer medium. So really what photo transfer is, I'll kind of break it down for you all. We got this photo of this beautiful desert landscape, and we sorry, I lost my train of thought. One thing you want to know when you're printing out your photo to use for photo transfer, you want to make sure that you have a dry toner laser jet copy. Okay, so you don't want to have a inkjet. You want to make sure that it is a laser print. So if you don't have if you don't have a laser print at your home printer, make sure to go to your local print shop. They can do it for you really inexpensively. That's just something that you definitely want to have. So what you want to do is you want to, grab your surface. So in this case, it would be a blank tote bag, and then you would grab your printed photo. You would apply your photo transfer medium to the face of your printed photo, and then you would, flip it and lay it and smooth it out onto your tote bag. Let that dry overnight. Then you would get a sponge. Really dampen your photo, start to rub it away, some of that excess paper, and then what's left is your ink and this beautiful, beautiful picture. And it is transferred permanently onto your surface. So you don't have to go to an expensive print shop and get someone's face on your t-shirt or a pillow or a tote bag, whatever you want. It is super, super, super inexpensive, and it is a great personalized way to make a gift for a loved one or to put that really special personal touch in your home decor. So let's cut back to Jessie. Jess, any questions?
Yes, Bella has asked if I attached a diamond dots project. So really quick, somebody asked earlier about sealing diamond dots. And we have a lot of customers who like to use Mod Podge Hard Coat, which is just another formula. I know there's like a million. So Mod Podge Hard Coat is another formula, and people have found that that's their favorite for sealing diamond dots. So just keep that in mind.
Hey Jess, I think the actual formula is Super Gloss.
Oh, Super Gloss. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Take that back. The best formula for sealing, I'm not a diamond dots person. I'm sorry guys, I didn't mean to mess that up. If we can switch to overhead to see that bottle. So Super Gloss is what everybody loves for sealing diamond dots. So the question was, if they put diamond dots on like a tote or something, could they seal it with that and put it in the washing machine? So you can absolutely seal it with that. I wouldn't put it in the washing machine though. The only formula we have that is washing machine safe is Mod Podge Fabric, and that doesn't work great as an external sealer, like Emma said. That one stays a little sticky. It's better for adhering fabric to fabric and keeping it together and keeping it soft. Like I said, it doesn't work great as an external sealer though. So, I always say if you hand make it, you should hand wash it. So that might just be a better option for you for your diamond dots.
I just had that question from Rachel. Yes, you would apply your photo transfer to the top of your photo, not the back, because what the medium is going to do, it is going to actually transfer the photo to your surface. So you want to make sure that the medium is on the face of the paper so that you can place it on your surface. So when I just had my regular printed dry toner copy, if I wanted to have words or letters on it, I would want to go ahead and make sure that those words or letters are reversed. And you can do that on PowerPoint. You can ask Kinko's to do it for you. They'd be happy to. I want to make sure that's reversed, because once I apply my Mod Podge to my, I guess rather this, not squeezing the bottle. When I apply my Mod Podge medium to my photo, I'm going to place it down onto my surface. So it's going to get flipped. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So this is our photo transfer medium. And I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions about photo transfer because everybody loves it. Everybody loves to learn about it. It is a great product we have here in the Mod Podge family. So we can definitely maybe do a class in the future. I think, yeah. So that's a great idea. And we'd be happy to do that. So, so photo transfer medium is gives you an opaque background. So if our paper had like we cut it right up to the line of the photo, but if we didn't and we had a little bit of white, that would show up on our tote bag. So if we had like a blue tote bag and we had a little white trim from our white printer paper, that would show up. But it keeps our photo looking really opaque in the background, giving us those full vibrant colors. And this clear photo transfer medium, the actual background color comes through the photo. So you can see on our little bluebirds here, how this is a painted birdhouse and that really light blue color from the birdhouse is coming through our transferred photo. So that's the difference between our clear image transfer medium and our photo transfer medium. And I like to use my photo transfer medium on fabric just so that my my photos stay really opaque and all that goodness. And also when you use your photo transfer medium on fabric, once it dries, you are able to, just like fabric Mod Podge, put that in the washing machine and it'll stay and be super durable and it'll last a really, really long time. Any questions, Jess?
Yeah, Carla said, must the photos be transferred on paper or do they have to be on paper? Can you use old photos? So I definitely wouldn't use your old photos. First of all, I wouldn't want to craft with old photos anyway, just for fear of ruining them. And they have to be laser copies, like Emma said, a dry toner copy, which is the same thing as a laser copy. So I would make copies of your old photos and do it that way.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you get your photos printed from a photo shop, on your actual photo is actually an acrylic sealer on your photo. So you don't want that piece of acrylic there because you just want the ink directly onto your surface. And that acrylic, backing, or really rather coating, is going to prevent the ink from transferring onto your surface. So great question.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, I know this is a lot of formulas, guys. Usually when we do our Michael's classes for Mod Podge, we are focusing on one formula and one project. This is a special class to kick off Mod Podge month, just because we get so many questions about different formulas in the classes. So we kind of just wanted to get this out of the way, get this out there for educational purposes, and kind of touch on most of the formulas, just to give you guys a broad overview of what to use for your projects. But like I said, typically we only do one formula, so it's way less information. And like I said, a little more fun, a little more inspirational. So
absolutely. So Jess, I'm seeing a lot of people asking what the difference between these two is. And let me try to give you guys a better explanation.
Yeah.
So let's see, if I had printed, let's say that this scrap of paper, these flowers are on a white background, right? And let's say I printed this with my dry toner at home, and it's just on regular printer paper, and this is a white background. When I transfer it with my photo transfer medium, it's going to look like a white patch. Okay. Let's say I'm transferring it onto let's see, I'm transferring onto a red tote bag. It's going to show up as a white patch because the printer paper, the white color of the printer paper, is going to transfer as well. But if I used my clear image transfer medium and I had my red tote bag and my white printer paper here, it wouldn't look like a white patch because the white part wouldn't transfer. It would just be the floral designs. This part wouldn't show because it would just show that red tote bag. Does that make sense? Is that more clear for everyone? I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. Let us know if that explains it a little better. And just so you guys know, we have tons of information too. If you guys are Facebook users, you can go to Plaid Crafts Facebook channel, and we do craft breaks twice a week where we just do inspiration and show some of Plaid's products. So there's a lot of information and inspiration on there as well. And we have a few craft breaks where we've gone over photo transfer. So If you're interested in learning more about these photo transfer projects, go check out the Plaid Crafts Facebook page, and we have lots of videos with lots of information on these as well. So we've always hopefully got places for education for these products.
Yes, and before we run out of time, I just wanted to showcase some of our newer products because they are super exciting because they're brand new, and who doesn't love brand new shiny things? So this year in 2021, along with our great other products that we released a Mod Podge Glow in the Dark and Blacklight Medium. How cool is that, you guys? So it's just like in the name. You could use them alongside paper, glitter, tissue paper, napkins, all the stuff you love to Mod Podge with, but it's going to either glow in the dark or shine under a black light. So we have this super cute phone case, and we actually applied our Blacklight Mod Podge over our pink letters. And I have this little tiny Blacklight here, you guys. I'm gonna show it to you in action. You see how the pink is shining?
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I know it's tough with the light on, but yeah, that's a good
Yeah, there's a lot of lights in here. But it really, really does glow under a black light, you guys. And the glow in the dark really does glow in the dark once you charge it under direct light. So those are two super, super cool Mod Podge formulas that I bet you didn't know about that we're happy to tell you about today because we're so excited because they released this year. So if you haven't tested those out, make sure you go to your local Mod Podge and pick up one of these to use for your next Mod Podge craft project. This would be great for like a kid's room, for some, home decor, the glow in the dark. The black light would be fun for a really cool like patio party, for a really cool, small gathering party. They're both just two really great versatile options for your crafting. That'll really bring your crafting up to a whole new level. I mean, this is like, it'll, bring your party game up, whatever you want to craft with that you want to glow in the dark or shine under black light. So those are two really cool options. Any questions, Jess?
Oh boy, are there. Just people saying thank you for this class. A lot of people didn't realize there were so many formulas, which we wanted to make sure everybody knew. Let me scroll down. I know there's a bunch while I was responding to some older questions.
And there's so many, you guys, and we can't even go through all of them today in this class. That's how many there are at Michael's alone.
I know. Can you use the glow in the dark and the black light on fabric?
Yeah, you totally could. I think it'd be for decorative purposes only. Like it'd be for like a lampshade. It wouldn't so much be for a t-shirt or a tote bag. So it wouldn't be machine washable, but you could definitely do it on, canvas, on a lampshade, on fabric like that.
Yeah. And then a couple people have asked me so far questions about decoupaging on furniture. So I've been in the chat, I've been recommending all kinds of stuff to them, even ones we didn't get a chance to talk about. So could you just touch on Mod Podge Furniture for us,
Yeah, so Mod Podge Furniture, it's just like in the name. It is great for furniture, all of your home decor crafts. It has a glossy finish, and it just really seals your furniture and keeps it super durable. So you can use it on chairs, on a desk, anything you can think of that is a piece of furniture to, adhere your, whatever you're wanting to Mod Podge, your fabric, your tissue paper, your regular paper onto your pieces of furniture to adhere to them, and then also to seal them. So it is a great sealer for your furniture pieces at home. And you could also use Mod Podge Ultra. That also works as a great furniture sealer. We also have aerosol sealers, which we just kind of want to maybe touch on today because we can't go too in depth on them because we will definitely run out of time. But we have aerosol sealers available at Michael's. We have an iridescent one, so definitely look that up because it is beautiful and shiny, amazing. And that is another really great sealer that we have in our Mod Podge family. So great question.
Yeah. And then some people have asked too, we keep getting questions about diamond dots, which is such a popular craft right now. And people are saying, what is diamond dots? So diamond dots, we do not make that product, but I believe they do sell them at Michael's. So it's kind of like paint by number, but with little like flat back crystals and gems that you can kind of glue and make a beautiful piece of art. So people love to use Mod Podge to seal their diamond dots projects. So again, we don't make diamond dots. I think it will be fun to show how you can seal them in the future in Michael's class. Maybe we will definitely put that on our calendar. But yeah, just for those of you who are wondering why everybody's asking about diamond dots, it's just a really hot craft right now. Everybody loves
it's like paint by numbers, but for flat back gems. It's really cool.
Exactly. It is really fun. So yeah, guys, check out. Do you have any more to cover, Emma? I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions.
Oh yeah, I have a lot more.
Oh, okay, cool. Just as a reminder, guys, I put the link in all of the Mod Podge formulas we're talking about today. You can buy on michaels.com. So just where you would buy the rest of your, or in store as well. If you guys are going to stores these days, you can buy them in store or on michaels.com. And if you want more inspiration and just more like frequently asked questions and things like that, you can go to plaidonline.com/modpodge. And again, I put those in the chat. So if you didn't see it, you can just go ahead and scroll up. I just put it there like a second ago and it's already disappeared because people have so many questions. But make sure to check out those websites for purchasing and for inspiration.
Yeah. Okay. Can I move on to my next one?
Please do.
Okay, so the next one we are super excited about because we are relaunching it into a separate size at Michael's, and we have a really special purpose to show you for this little guy on my hand. So this is Mod Podge Gloss Washout for Kids. So just like in the name, if you have a kiddo at home, you need to pick up a bottle of this and teach them how to Mod Podge early because it is just like in the name. It is able to be washed out of your clothes. So regular Mod Podge, it will stay in your clothes. You just have to be careful with it, non-toxic, but just avoid getting it on your clothes. But this, you can just like slap on your jeans and it'll come out in the washing machine. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you could if you wanted to. So it is great for uses with kids. And another thing that we found it works really well for, which I have been using it all the time ever since I found out that it works so well for it, but it works as a really great paint resist. And you can make beautiful works of art like this. So this is a little tote bag. How adorable. And so it is kind of an off-white tote bag that we got at Michael's, but you can see all the off-white parts. That is we made with our washout Mod Podge, and we placed it in the washing machine, and the Mod Podge washed out and created these super duper clean curvy lines. So just a little breakdown of what we did is we used our Mod Podge washout and we made our lines, as you can see, on our tote bag, and then we let that dry, and it dried pretty quickly. I'd say about 30 minutes. We made these big patches with our washout. You see all that. And another tip for you guys at home, they have this at Michael's, obviously, but if you have a hard time seeing your Mod Podge washout when you're using it as a paint resist, a tip I'd give you guys at home is to use some washable paint, like some washable watercolor or some washable tempera paint, like, kids paint. I would mix a tiny bit of that, just a tiny bit, like a yellow, a color that will easily wash out of your fabric. Mix a little bit of that into your Mod Podge, and that way you can see where your lines are. So that's just a great little tip to remember if you want to make something like this at home. So you'd let your Mod Podge dry, and then you would pick out your favorite fabric paint. And if you are curious, some of my favorite fabric paints are Folk Art multi-surface and Folk Art acrylic mixed with Folk Art textile medium. So we won't get into that on this class, but you would use your Folk Art multi-surface, and of course both of those are available at Michael's. You would use your Folk Art multi-surface to kind of, it's like a coloring book now. You get to color with your paint right up to your Mod Podge lines, and you create this beautiful design. It's going to look a little messy because we haven't washed it yet, but then you would let it dry, let it cure overnight. And then you can also heat set it if you want, but you don't have to. You can also let it cure for about 48 hours. And then you place it in your washing machine. The Mod Podge comes out. You get these beautiful clean lines, and then you have this beautiful tote bag.
Yeah. So people are just asking, what is the base for this rainbow? So this is just a tote bag. And Emma, so kids Mod Podge washout is meant for using with children because it is super safe for children, which all of them are. They're all non-toxic and water-based, but there's certain...
It's safe for children's clothing, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Well, I was about to say, there are certain certifications you need to go through to say that it is safe for children. So this one is certified safe for children, but also it washes out of your clothes, which is big because Mod Podge is permanent. So if you're planning on crafting with your kids or your grandkids or your students, this is probably the one you want to use. It works great for paper and it's permanent, but if the kids spill it, it does wash out. And so what Emma just did here is use it as a resist for her paint. So she painted the Mod Podge down and then painted over it. And then when she washes her bag and all of that Mod Podge washes out, all of those clean lines where the paint was washed out as well. So this is just, you know, a Mod Podge like kid-friendly version, but we also have found really cool inspiration and other ways to use it. So hopefully that clarifies it a little.
Yeah, and I saw that question from Rochelle. She was wanting to know if you can use this as a resist on canvas. So you can use this as a resist on any fabric that you can pop in the washing machine. So if you're using like a stretched canvas, if you can remove that canvas from your frame, then you could, but that sounds like a lot of work. So I don't know if you'd want to do that, but any kind of fabric that you can wash, you can use as a resist with Mod Podge washout for kids. So real quick, let me move on to our, I think we'll only get to one more awesome Mod Podge formula, which I'm sad about, but make sure to go to Michael's and just type in michaels.com, just type in Mod Podge in the search bar and have fun. Pick out I challenge you guys to purchase a formula of Mod Podge you have never heard of before, or you have been wanting to use. You saw it on the Michael's class and you have never used it before. I encourage you to buy a brand new formula of Mod Podge and to create a piece of art with it. And if you do, we definitely want to see it. So make sure to hashtag Make It With Michaels and hashtag Plaid Crafts on social media. Okay, last formula, you guys, and then we're done. So we have this beautiful ombre birdhouse, and we are in no paper, no yarn, no whatever on this birdhouse, just paint. So it's not like the traditional Mod Podge craft, but the great thing about Mod Podge is you can be really creative with it. And so you can use it as a top coat, or you can whatever. But like I said earlier, remember when I said, what did I say that with? I said something fabric Mod Podge. I wouldn't use it as a sealer as much as I would use it as an adhesive, right? This is the opposite. This next formula, we are going to only really want to use it as a sealer. We're not so much going to want to use it as an adhesive. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Jessie? Sorry that I keep quizzing you live on Michael's.
It's outdoor, which we've talked about a lot. I've got a lot of questions about outdoor, and I keep kind of like mentioning it in the chat. So I'm glad we're going over this one too, because this is a really great product as well.
Yes. Okay. So we're not actually talking about outdoor though.
Oh. Well, never mind. Don't listen to me.
We're talking about all of our sparkle formulas.
Oh, yay. Okay. We just got a question about that too. So I'm glad.
Okay, great.
Lashavia asked about that. So good.
Okay. So these formulas are not great for outdoors, but you could totally seal them with our Mod Podge Outdoor or our Mod Podge Ultra. Those are fabulous, fabulous formulas to use outdoor. So, real quick though, I will touch on Mod Podge Outdoor. Like, it's just like in the name. It is a great sealer for all of your outdoor projects, along with Mod Podge Ultra. You could use either one, they're both great. And it is weather resistant, so it'll keep all of your projects safe outdoors. You don't have to worry about them. It is a great, fantastic sealer for for all your outdoor crafts. So once you use one of these sparkle formulas and they dry, you can definitely seal it with Mod Podge Outdoor, and then you'll have a long-lasting craft to place outside. Okay, so look at all of the beautiful Mod Podge formulas we have that are so sparkly. So we have extreme glitter, which comes in this clear base, and there's lots of different particles of glitter suspended in the Mod Podge. We have sparkle, which just gives you a little hint of sparkle in your Mod Podge crafts. And this is also a like hologram type glitter. And then we have mega glitter, which comes in gold, silver. Is it silver or hologram? It's silver, gold, silver, and hologram. Okay, so I'll brush them out so you guys can see all of the different like glitter particles in the Mod Podge, but they're all different and unique. And mega comes in 3 different colors. The rest only really come in the clear hologram. So up first, we have extreme glitter, and I'll try to do this quick because I know that we're really running out of time. Thanks everyone for being with us here today and for being patient with us, because I know there is literally so much to cover, and I'm so thankful that you are all here today. Okay, so this is extreme glitter. And can you see that kind of?
Yeah.
You get that super
kind of hard to see on camera, but you can hold it up when you're done.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can totally see the sparkle now.
Okay. So that is our extreme glitter.
And you want to talk about the Milky Base?
Yes, thank you, Jessie. So
Sure.
Mod Podge has a milky base when it is wet. All Mod Podge does. But once it dries totally, totally clear. So as you can see, like Jess pointed out, there is a milky base, but once this thing dries, it'll dry totally clear, and all that you'll be able to see is the glitter, not the cloudy base. Great, great point. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, people sometimes like will spread out on their project and they're like, oh no, like my project turned white. But just be patient. It will always dry clear. So don't stress about that.
Yes. So up next, that was extreme glitter. This is Mod Podge Sparkle. So you will see we get a little bit of different concentration. Okay, so this one is kind of lighter with the glitter, and this one is a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more sparkle action. You see?
It's a little more subtle. Yeah, it's like a shimmer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and then lastly, we'll move on to our mega glitter.
Ooh.
And a lot of our, Mod Podge formulas at Michael's, you guys, we carry multiple different sizes. So this, we like to use the 8 ounce because it's easy to use and they're all available to us, but most of them come in a bunch of different sizes. So you can choose the right size for the project that you're working on.
Yep.
Okay, and you know what? I'm going to try to roll it out just like I gave you guys that advice earlier. So this is the silver, just to mix up some of that glitter. So like the glitters, you would probably want to roll out, but the rest you probably should be fine. You don't really need to mix.
Yeah, Mod Podge doesn't really have anything that separates. Like a lot of times, if like acrylic paint and stuff, you want to shake it and just make sure everything is recombined in case it like settled on the shelf or in the store or something. Mod Podge doesn't have that problem. So you shouldn't be shaking Mod Podge because you will end up with bubbles and it doesn't separate at all.
Yeah, so this is our mega glitter in silver.
Awesome. And this can be used on paper and really any other kind of project you'd be using Mod Podge on. I just got that question. So Emma's doing a birdhouse, which is super cute. She's gonna have a nice sparkly birdhouse, but anything else you'd be sealing with Mod Podge, you can use this glitter on.
Yes, so there are all three. Some particles are bigger than others. Some are a little bit more concentrated. Some are, you just get a little bit of a shimmer to your project, but they're all three of them are some great formulas. And now you just have to choose which one you like the best.
I know, now you have so many ideas and so many options.
And like we said, you guys, can you believe it? That's not even all of the Mod Podge formulas at Michael's.
I know, seriously,
like grouping.
We really have still just skimmed the surface. So if you just stumbled into this class and have not taken a plaid class, thank you for staying. I know that was probably super overwhelming because it was just really informational, but I just really hope you guys learned a lot. I know we always have questions. We love teaching Mod Podge classes because it's such an amazing product and people are always wondering. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're able to use this class, go back and watch the recording as a reference for your future projects. But like I said, it is Mod Podge month. So we will be back here every week. We're actually going to be back here tomorrow for a special Mother's Day class using Mod Podge. So check that out as well. But then we'll be back again next week with another Mod Podge class. I'm trying to remind myself of the exact time so I can tell you guys. With another Mod Podge class. And we will continue to be back every week teaching you guys specific Mod Podge classes using one specific formula, doing a specific project. So it'll be a little less overwhelming, but make sure, yeah, I think the next one is May 12th. So it's that shoe class that everybody's excited about. So I will be teaching that one. So no pressure. It seems like a lot of you guys are excited for that one. But I'm excited to teach it to you guys. So any ending words you've got, Emma?
I don't think so. I just want to say, like Jessie said, thank you so much for being here. We hope you learned so much about Mod Podge. We're glad that you love Mod Podge as much as we love Mod Podge. Happy National Mod Podge Month, you guys. The best month of the year. We're excited to celebrate with you all and share some of our love of Mod Podge together and be here.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thanks guys. We love teaching these classes. Thank you to Michael's for having us. We have so much fun participating in these classes and giving you guys some inspiration. And we will see you tomorrow for our Mother's Day class. So bye guys.
Bye guys.
Have a great day.